Well, what would be most helpful today?
Yeah, so I was thinking about I'm new in private in solo practice. I left a group
Uh,
practice in July, actually June, and started this practice in August. So it hasn't been that long. And I'm starting to feel like I'm getting the hang of it, but there are some things I'm wondering um if I should outsource or things that I'm outsourcing that I should keep that I should do. So that's where
awesome.
I got really I think thrown off at the beginning, and I wanted to talk to you about that.
Yes. Let me get my pen. Okay.
Okay.
Tell me all about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was under the just knowing my personality type and my work style just felt like I wouldn't be so great at the credentialing process, at the billing. Um, I really wanted to just focus on welcoming my clients into my practice and the clinical work.
Hmm.
Obviously, there's like a whole very important business side of things, but I thought, it's worth my money to pay someone to help me with this. Um, what ended up happening was the folks I hired to help me with the credentialing, it was a really stressful and not very productive relationship.
Hmm.
And I was left in the dark a lot. It wasn't clear on if I was paneled. I got paneled with the wrong folks. Like it was just kind of a mess. And
Hmm.
I went into this like spiral the first month or two, just being really angry at them,
Yeah.
but just also feeling stuck. Like, I don't know what they're working on, what I'm working on. And so it just kind of set me off on on a bad note. Like I just
Hmm.
came into this just feeling frustrated and I'm still working out kinks in insurance and all of that. So I'm not really making the money that I I mean, I think the money's out there and their claims unpaid. It's all kind of a mess right now.
Yeah.
I do have someone that's helping me with billing. Um, so coming back to the credentialing piece, I fired them and I said,
Hmm.
I'm going to just take over, just send me like the status of everything. Um, And that was helpful. And just got me thinking, like, like, I should have listened to Allison's podcast and I could have done this myself if I just believed in myself more and been like set
Hmm.
aside time to do it. Cause it's not like the credentialing piece doesn't sound that complicated when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think I'm okay on that front for the most part. And I know like I need to go in and check the CAHQ, is it CHQ and
CAQH. Yeah. Hmm.
QH, and just maintain those contracts and everything. But I don't think I'm going to have anybody help me with that piece anymore
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
think I've got my foot on the ground when it comes to that.
Hmm.
With billing, there's someone that I've never met in person. She's local and was recommended by a couple other therapists, and she's been helping me with submitting claims through,
Hmm.
I use Simple Practice. And she's also helped me, she's kind of stepped in and helped with insurance, like to help me get those EFTs set up and so that I
Hmm.
could get paid. But she's kind of the only person I go to now when I have any questions about insurance and billing.
Yeah.
Although um, I I think I'm getting stuck with like, at what point should I just see what I can do myself? I mean, what are some of
Yeah.
the simpler things that I can do to save money? I'm just like bleeding. I feel like I'm bleeding money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm paying her an hourly rate.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
Um,
using Simple Practice, like any of the major EHRs, it literally takes you seconds to bill, like seconds.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I think like I don't know how she would charge an hourly rate unless she's actively on the phone with the insurance companies a lot, trying to track
Uh-huh.
down those claims that you haven't gotten. So I might
Yeah.
hold on with to her to get that part done. But
Uh-huh.
after that, I mean, it's so easy. It's so
Mhm.
easy. Like when you
Mhm.
start doing the billing, you'll be like, oh, why was I paying for this?
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but if she is doing a lot of the call and like verifying benefits and things like that,
Hmm.
it depends on the insurance company. A lot of them are like portaled through the major EHR systems. So you can look and see like what are their benefits while you're in your system. Some of them you have to sign into the insurance company, but it literally is just like a quick check that you could do, while you're on the phone onboarding somebody or before their
Okay.
first appointment so that everybody's real clear. And what
Yeah.
I've done in the past is just said, like, I want you to check with your insurance. Like, I've put the onus of responsibility on them
Hmm.
because I didn't want to be messing
Yeah.
around with insurance all the time.
Yeah. I'm paying her to do the verification of benefits for every client.
Hmm. And so I would look into what that process actually is. Because if it is a sign into a portal or sign into Simple Practice and just look,
Hmm.
and it takes
Hmm.
you less than a minute, I would so
Hmm.
much rather you do that because I don't, if that's the case, she should be super cheap and you shouldn't be talking to me about this. If
Okay.
she's charging you per hour.
Okay.
Yeah, unless she is the one waiting on hold saying, we still have not gotten these
She is doing
file.
some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and the simple practice is still not showing correctly like which claims have been paid.
Okay.
So I think that's on the simple practice side of end of things
Hmm.
to the EFT yeah. Um yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot. Because I started with a full practice because I was able to take my clients with me, which is
Hmm.
awesome.
Yeah.
But I just underestimated the amount of time that I needed to get everything in place.
Yeah.
And so now I just feel like I'm backpedaling a lot and
Mhm.
going back to learn. I mean, I need to, so going into simple practice too and looking at the billing, how billing works and through there.
Mhm.
And then with all my panels, kind of learning that process on my own.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So you're saying like it really shouldn't be taking that long to submit claims. It's
No,
just
no,
okay.
it's literally less than a minute every claim. Maybe, I mean, some of it's probably even automated.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
she should be super cheap except for her time talking to them.
Okay. Okay. Um, thank you. And the other thing I mentioned the notes. I get really stuck in um figuring out. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist and
Mhm.
I delayed actually transferring my handwritten notes to the system until I had the perfect template.
Mhm.
I don't have the perfect template. I in my old job we had one that I liked. I didn't love it, but I used it and I was familiar with it. And now I'm like putting together my own based on what I'm seeing in simple practice and then yeah. And um, I'm behind. I'm very behind. I know you probably hear this a lot because it's the bane
Mhm.
of a lot of our existences, but what can I, maybe I just need some motivation or like clarity from you on the documentation, like
Mhm.
not like as big of a deal as I'm making it in my head, or
Yeah.
like letting go of some of that
Yeah. I mean, you
need to
have it
have a perfect
documented.
template.
You have
Hmm.
you have everything documented. It's just on
I
paper.
do.
So
Yep.
like worst case scenario, you got audited right now. You're
Yeah.
just like, here you go. Like it's been behind two locks. Like I'm not leaving it on my desk in my unlocked office.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So you're
Huh.
still abiding by HIPAA. So I want you to like know that
I
you're not in
hadn't even
trouble.
considered that. I didn't even think about that. Thank you.
Yeah. And so
Uh,
honestly, what I do,
yeah.
I believe Simple Practice has a feature where you can just scan things in.
Huh?
You could hire a college kid, have them sign a BAA, Business Associate Agreement, which basically
Uh-huh.
says like, I will abide by HIPAA. And you could
Uh-huh.
just pay them an hourly rate just to scan and pop them into the right folders. Or you could do that while watching TV. So
Hmm. Okay.
I
Just to
wouldn't,
get caught up.
Yeah, instead of like hand typing out everything that's already written, I
Mm-hmm.
would just get to a place of caught up and then take it from there with your good enough template.
Yeah. Okay.
Like as long as you've
Okay.
got medical necessity in there, you're
Mhm.
like hitting the primary
Yep.
points, then
Yep.
you'll be solid.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have that. I have um a proof of like the codes reflecting the service provided. So that, yeah, that frees me up, but I'm like, future self is gonna want a template.
Mhm.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So here's my question. You're a business owner now.
mm-hmm,
The perfectionism is going to slow you down and make your life a lot harder as a business owner. I
mm-hmm,
want it to be the same kind of good enough attitude you might have had as an employee or contractor,
mm-hmm.
because it doesn't have to be perfect. That's just like business owner anxiety getting in the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Your
don't know
face.
why I'm expecting more of myself now,
Yeah.
but
I
it's true.
mean,
It is like it's a mind game a little bit,
yeah.
or a mindset. So what about treatment plans? And yeah, what is your view on using like the SOAP notes and the full biopsychosocial first visit, having that all completed? That takes me almost an hour
Hmm.
per client.
One
Is
thing you
that
may want to consider. Oh, and hold on. I have a book right here. Hold on one sec.
okay?
Okay. So I just got this book, Stress-Free Documentation.
Ah,
Melissa McCaffrey runs QA Prep, and is
uh-huh.
like one of the documentation gurus, but she keeps it light and fun. And this is
Okay.
cool because it has like templates. Let's see, I've just thumbed through it. I haven't really looked at it, but like this is treatment plan components, um, intake assessment forms. So this might calm your perfectionist
Mm-hmm.
if you were to get, I don't know if it's out yet. They just sent it to me. Um,
Okay. I think I
but
saw heard a podcast with her maybe or a training. What's her
she's
name again?
fantastic. Melissa McCaffrey. It's Maelisa and
Okay.
then Mccaffrey. And it's stress-free documentation for mental health therapists.
Okay.
So that might be something like not a fun read necessarily, no offense to Melissa, but like something that could at least help you feel like, okay, I'm doing this the right way. I don't have to reinvent any wheels.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making sure that like all my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed so that that
Yeah.
anxious part of you that's like, but what if, like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
calmed.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I'll get it when it's out.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Um, yeah. And I think like probably when you've been an employee or a contractor throughout your career, you've just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like gotten your notes done. Like it wasn't like,
Mm-hmm.
how do I do
Mm-hmm.
this exactly right? And I
Mm-hmm.
love that there's this part of you that's like, okay, like I am the one responsible. I'm the one in charge. I have to make sure this is done properly.
Right.
I love that
Yeah.
that's coming up, but the fact that it's freezing you, that's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Not the desire to do it right, but the freeze response is the tough part.
Yeah.
So if it'll ease
It's
some of you.
heavy. It's really icky. And then I just feel worse talking about it because it's so silly to be obsessed about it.
It's
Um,
so like
yeah.
I want to normalize that we all have that thing. For some people it's notes, for some people it's I have to have the right headshots. For some people it's I can't get the right template from my stupid website. Like
Mm.
everybody has this one thing that feels really important, but it isn't really about the thing we think it's about when you're getting your practice where you want it. So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
just yours. It's a very like legal ethical one. It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think, and maybe it was the training with Melissa. What one of the speakers said, it's usually about a confidence issue, like when we get stuck. or maybe
Mhm.
it was you in one of your sessions, but
Could be. It sounds like
um,
me, but
yeah, yeah, no, I can hear that right now in what you're saying. It's just something they get stuck on. And yeah, I think um what's helpful is that question of like, why make it so much harder on myself when I was fine as an employee doing this and I was okay with my work there? Why is this expectation? Because now
Mhm.
I'm on my own that it has to be bigger and better. Yeah, I want this to feel sustainable. And
Yeah.
just it has been stressful.
Yeah. Well, starting private practice is already really stressful. I know a lot of people are like, if only I had all the clients, then it would feel better. But like, it's a different stress because now you're
Mhm.
trying to like build the plane while you're in it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's tough. Like, because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
doing a lot of clinical care while you're
Yeah.
trying to build it. It's yeah.
Yeah. And I took time off, but I had my kid, when it was the summer and I had my kids. Like,
Yeah,
this is
that's not
not
time off.
what I envisioned for my hiatus. So okay, yeah, awesome. Any other like any advice that I mean, you have a lot that you've shared with
Yeah.
your through your recordings and everything, but what about when you start to feel lonely? Like there's no
Mhm.
one in my building that I see on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Um, I went from having like 20 coworkers to then 5 to 0
Mhm.
over the last 5 years.
Are there therapists in your building?
There's one who I sometimes will see
Not
like
your
on a
person?
Tuesday afternoon
Oh, okay. Okay.
and not my person. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder
Um,
about reaching out to therapists that you respect in town and just saying like, hey, how would y'all feel about like a Zoom clinical consultation meeting once a month?
mm,
Um, or, and this
mm,
is like so I used to feel very similar. I'm extroverted and I'm outgoing, right? So like my need for people is it's like this deep well. The kind of things that introverts hate. I'm like, thank God. So, um, I recognize that like for me, I started with a lot of like, I need to find colleagues. I need to like create a way to see them regularly. But what I ultimately
mhm,
found was I needed people in my real life more so than I needed in my clinical life. Because in your clinical life, you've got a person every hour. Like you do have
mhm.
people, they're clients, it's a different boundary. But I would
Yeah.
rather you make your real life, your non-work life so rich
Mhm,
with exactly the people you want instead of trying to fit some therapists that may be friends and may be great into like round peg in a square hole. You know what I mean? Like if you need more interaction, I vote in your real life.
okay. Yeah. Hmm.
I think
I like that.
yeah, we all need to be having a lot more fun than we're having, and we have lots of reasons why we're
Mhm.
not.
Yes.
But
It's very serious and around here.
yeah, yeah.
I'm serious and
Stress will
stressed.
do it. Yeah, stress will do that. So I was reminded yesterday of the definition of stress and how it is when the demand exceeds your resources.
Uh-huh.
And the
Uh-huh.
truth is, like, the demand is not exceeding your resources. You have so
Mm-hmm.
many resources. You've got me, you've got the Facebook group, like, you've got all these
Hmm.
people. Somebody's got your answers.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah.
everything has to be implemented right this second.
Yeah.
So I think like what I've been doing since I was reminded of that, of like, I like heard that and I was feeling super stressed and I was like, wait a minute.
Hmm.
I have access to every support and answer that I actually need. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm not stressed. Maybe I just simply don't like some of the things I feel responsible for right now because they're
Mm-hmm.
not fun
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or they're not fulfilling. It's just like
Yeah.
annoying tax shit, like just,
Yeah.
bleh.
Yeah.
And like maybe I just
Yeah.
don't like that and that's okay. But instead of
Uh-huh.
like for me, labeling it stress and putting it in my basket of all the times in my life I've been terribly stressed and all the
Mhm.
baggage that comes with that, if I can just be like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I hate having to get back to my accountant and this health insurance guy is annoying me. And I'm like,
Mhm.
these are not my favorite moments.
Right.
And it
Right.
actually made me feel a lot less stressed.
Yeah. I'm letting that sink in. This is recorded, right?
Yeah, it is.
Like I'm gonna play this back when I need it.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you. Sorry I was late too. That's a bummer on my for both. I mean, sorry for that time of
no
yours
worries.
and
You
it
got here. I'm glad you
it
did.
was
So,
not because I didn't want to be here. So thank you for your time and everything that you offer. So
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Take care.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye.